What is up? Welcome to episode number 106 of the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. Just search Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. Pretty easy to find. Also, be sure to subscribe, give the show likes, shares. I appreciate all the support 100%. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me. And of course, please subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. This is a live stream, of course, but I will be putting out an audio version of this episode in the next couple of days or so. I just want to get into this episode because this is going to be super fun. Of course, Tedeschi Trucks Band just wrapped up their 3-show run at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, which is a historic venue, and I can't wait to hear all about it. And we have 3 returning guests of the podcast coming back to help me recap those shows. They were at some combination of all 3. We got Brandon Renfro, Whitt Vicena, and David Flamm. Whitt is driving. It's dark, but we will be able to hear him talk during the conversation, of course. So without further ado, let's recap TTB at the Ryman. What's up, guys? Everybody here? I see you. I hear you.
Hey.
What's cooking? Oh, man, thank you for taking the time, all you guys. I appreciate it. Where should we start? Why don't we tell me about, we can go around the room and just tell me about your journey to the Ryman, where you came in from. We'll go Brandon, Whitt, and David.
All right. I live in Upper East Tennessee, about 90 miles east of Knoxville, so it took me about 5 hours to get to Nashville. And it's worth every minute of the drive time and all the traffic. They put on – I got to see them Friday and Saturday. They put on 2 wonderful shows.
Yeah, no, we were talking a little bit before we started the live stream. I was saying how, like, the 5-hour drive, I need to be making all of those in 2023 that I can to see Tedeschi Trucks Band, especially if I'm gonna cut back on a little of the distant travels and the plane travels. But we'll see what the second half has in store. Whitt, how are you? Why don't you tell me about your journey to the Ryman?
Yeah, definitely. My wife and I made the trek from Charlotte, which is about 6.5 hours, but it's definitely doable if you leave early. And we also went to the Friday and Saturday shows. And we're currently on our way back, almost home.
Gotcha. So, Brandon, you went Thursday and Friday, you said?
No, I went Friday and Saturday.
Oh, Friday and Saturday, the final 2, and with the same. And David, tell me about where you came in from Atlanta, or where were you while you're traveling?
My wife Ann and I, we about 3.5 hours, 4 hours from Atlanta, depending on traffic. So it's not a bad ride, and we gain an hour. Nashville being in Central Time, and we were there all 3 shows, and drove back home this morning.
Sounds like a great time for sure. Tell me about the Ryman. Had all of you guys? I think David, you've been there before, and maybe you as well, Brandon and Whitt. Tell me about the venue and arriving to it, and the whole vibe of the place and what it's all about.
It was my first time there, and Nashville was electric. There was so much going on, and Ryman's just across the street and down a ways from Bridgestone, where Billy Strings was playing. So there was a lot of cool people wandering around. The Ryman, just walking in, I just felt great vibes in the place. It's just a really cool venue. It was very good. A lot of cool history there.
I'm pulling up pictures of it here.
I would totally agree with that. And Brandon and I got to meet Saturday night after the show. We got to say hey to each other after the show. So it was nice to meet Brandon after the show. And I would, I don't want to tell everybody out there to come to the Ryman because the tickets are tough to get. It's a small venue, but even with Ann and I being in Atlanta, the Ryman is really our home base for seeing TTB. That with the 3 we just saw, that ran us up to 22 shows at the Ryman, and it's our favorite place to see the band. It's historical. It's church pews, and they're not straight line. They're curved, so you really get probably better sight lines when you're in the side seats than you would at any other venue. Because you're still kind of funneled towards the stage, so it's just it's perfect to perfect spot to see TTB. And there probably were more people around than usual. As Brandon said, Billy Strings was playing right, pretty much right across the street for 2 nights, I think. And then I think he's actually playing at the Ryman tonight. But the Ryman is Anna my favorite place to see him.
I pulled up a picture here for the people watching. This is a really unique looking building, and like you said, it does not look big at all. Like this, they don't. I hate to say it, but they don't make architectural structures like this anymore. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of beauty lost in architecture, and the Ryman Auditorium is definitely like, in some ways, a last bastion to like classic, beautiful architecture just from the outside.
Absolutely. And you can, during the day, you can take a tour of it, and it's really cool. But what you don't see is kind of on the other side, there is a little modern tinge to it on the other side where you kind of go in and everything now. So they had to, I guess, a little update on the side there, but it does have the certainly old world church vibe. It's just the crowds in there are special.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something similar, that the vibe just among the people inside, even the employees who work there, everybody was really, mellow, and it didn't have that corporate venue feel at all that some places do, that it can be unavoidable sometimes. And yeah, the crowd was amazing. I know that's kind of a different subject in its own, but definitely everybody's vibe was on point for the 2 shows that I attended, at least.
Yeah, only
down home.
That's cool. No, I was gonna say only 2,300 seats, 2,362. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, it's about as intimate as you can get these days, in a theater or anything like that. I mean, it's a good size, smaller than the Beacon even. I think the Beacon is like 3,600 or something like that.
David, why did you say this is your favorite venue? Maybe I mean, yeah, you kind of were describing it in a lot of amazing ways, so I get why it is. But
Yeah.
Is there something even beyond that or specific that makes it your favorite?
You do see a great vibe from the band. There's a great vibe from the band. Everybody is kind of, everybody's very friendly. So, and it's somewhat like the Beacon, where people do come from all over. I mean, we're coming from Charlotte, and we come from Atlanta. I mean, we connected with people from, I don't know, New York, Florida. I mean, just from everywhere come around, and everybody's so happy to be there. And everybody seems in awe of the venue. I think, and don't quote me, but I think it was built in 1892. There's a sign in there, and
right, yeah. The auditorium opened as the Union Gospel Tabernacle in 1892. Then, of course, was the home of the Grand Ole Opry from 43 to 74.
And I mean, I think the sound in there is really cool. I've never sat in the balcony, but the balcony is up really close. And from what I hear, everybody loves the seat in the balcony, other than, they sit probably most of the time in the balcony. Down below, everybody's pretty much standing. A few people take a break, but no hassle about standing or sitting or dancing or this, that. It just, everybody seems to be in a friendly vibe, telling everybody how good their seat is. What was really funny is Ann and I were sitting in our seats during the break Friday night, and a couple comes up and says, "Oh, we're just scoping out where our seats are for tomorrow night." And you're like, "Oh, well, you're going to love this spot and this, that, and the other." And then we're going to see where we're sitting the next night, and people are all moving around to, just kind of checking it out. And everybody's just so friendly about it. There's, just a real friendly vibe to me. I don't know, some Southern hospitality there.
I was going to say Southern hospitality. And what I think? I was going to say, what I also think it might be, because just talking to you guys all traveled a pretty damn far distances to see this band. So obviously this is a venue that you're going to have fans coming in and driving in from all over the place. And you get that for all TTB shows. But what may be different about this is the venue and how you're describing the people who work there and their love of the venue and their love of music history and the whole city's appreciation for music. So when you get all these crazy TTB fans, and I mean that in the kind of sense, you guys coming in, loving the music and wanting to have a good time and coming in with good attitudes, that combined with the people who work there having a similar attitude, vibe, mentality, with the Southern hospitality on top of it, I think that's what makes for the magical experience. And of course, it's a historic venue and has that feel to it from what you guys
all
are
the
describing.
Staff, they're very accommodating. I was asked if I needed any help probably a dozen times by different staff members. They were really cool staff. But I found a picture I wanted to show. Hopefully you can see it. They had Tedeschi Trucks Band lit up.
Yeah, you can send it to me.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, but I got you. Yeah, we see it pretty well. Yeah, I see it.
Really
Yeah,
cool.
oh yeah, that lit up on top also. Yeah, that looked cool.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think you're
cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I think you're totally right about it being kind of one of those special venues that's worth traveling to for so much of the fan base because of how intimate it is and how friendly everybody is. I had three friends of mine from Milwaukee come down just for those shows. And then we saw some people there from like Lockin in Virginia. And I know a lot of people who have been on the podcast, obviously, as all of us were there as well. So it just seems like one of the places that's actually, it's kind of like an annual retreat, if you will.
Yeah, no, I got to get there. It goes without saying.
It's a destination venue, but don't tell anybody. Shh, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Don't say it on the internet.
Yeah.
That's always the conundrum when we're in as TTB fans. Part of us wants to just keep it for ourselves, but we're also, these missionaries in a sense for the band, as well. We can't stop talking about them and promoting them and just talking up how excited we are about all the music that they put out. Shall we get into the set list from the first night?
Sure. I guess I might have been the only one of the three that was there, but
they know all the songs. I know all the songs. Yeah.
But maybe even before jumping into that real quick, the Amy Ray band opened up. Amy Ray and her band opened up Thursday night. They had an opener during the week, and she was tremendous. The crowd was loving it. Susan came out and sang a song. I think it's called Dwayne Allman. And Susan, I think, was on the album. She came out and sang a song. And then Gabe Dixon came out, played keys on a song. And then Derek came out and played guitar on another song. So they were really involved with Amy Ray. And Amy had mentioned that I think her last recording, she worked with Bobby Tees, helped produce her last album. So there was a lot of connection there, and it was nice to see them kind of sitting in with Amy Ray, and it was just really well received and a great start to the long weekend.
Where people must have been, I guess, somewhat surprised, or they got a pop. Obviously, when TTB members come out, that must get the crowd super excited and just give the whole building a jolt of electricity, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into the set list here. Oh, there we go. I got it. I listened to this whole show. I forget the name of the tape or the recorders too.
Oh, that's Mr. Soul. That's Mark Hayward.
Yeah,
he's out of South Carolina, and he's a nurse, and we've met him a lot of places around the Southeast, and he can only go to shows during the week because he works every weekend. But he came in for one night and taped the Thursday show. I haven't seen a Friday or Saturday. I know there's a lot of YouTube, but I haven't seen an audio yet. I don't know anybody that might have gotten that yet. But that was Mark. We can all thank for that great audio from Thursday night.
Thank you, Mark, Mr. Soul. Yeah, we don't have to go necessarily into every single song and analyze every single song because we do have 3 shows to get through. But I don't know. I'll let you guys kind of like talk about maybe what jumps out at you from this night or the set list, and we'll just have a casual conversation about the music.
Couple of things that hit me. Don't Drift Away to me is always a great opener. That just kind of sets the tone. I just, it's just kind of a nice vibe. Susan, great vocals, and then Derek with a nice solo, towards the end. It just, I've seen that not often, but a number of times, set the show off is a great opener. I really dug Where Are My Friends? Mike saying that. I thought that was great. Haven't heard that one a whole lot. Thought that was terrific. I think the crowd really dug Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? Derek really was really on fire. I think the crowd was very appreciative of his guitar work on that one.
I like how they put that with the Bell Bottom Blues, kind of putting the two Derek and the Dominoes songs together. And you're seeing a lot of that, I think, with TTB lately, a little bit more, where certain songs are obviously from the I Am the Moon stuff, songs go together. But even beyond that, just a real method to the bandness in terms of how they put together the set list and even sections of the set list. I think Circles Around the Sun and Passaquan are obviously tied at the hip they're going to be tied at the hip for the foreseeable future. But this is just an excellent set list. And I love that they brought Blind, Crippled, and Crazy back into the fold. Like, that's been super groovy. Like, I don't know. It's just totally fresh with Isaac and super cool. I love that anything that they haven't played in the while, that seems to be, like, in some regards, my favorite stuff. My favorite thing is, the new thing, the thing that they haven't played in a while, because it's just like such a, but I love, of course I love everything.
I don't think I think that was the first time I'd heard that live. And those were shows 90 through 92 for us. And that was, I think, the first time I'd heard that. I know, obviously, old Derek Trucks band song. So it was the first time I'd heard TTB do it live. So it was pretty cool. Totally love that. All the love. Derek's playing on that. I mean, very haunting at the end. And then segued right into Just as Strange, which I don't think has been, that's been kind of quiet on the set list for a while.
Yeah, I saw you had videos of those. That was super great. I appreciate your what you post too, for sure.
So that was a great 1-2 punch. And then I Want More into Soul Sacrifice. As I've heard Susan say in the past, Derek's not really playing until he busts a string. Well, he busted a string on that one. So he was getting after it.
Yeah, no, I this is just a stellar set list. Like, just really well put together. You get really a diverse sample of of all things TTB, and you got your Allman Brothers, influence songs with Done Somebody Wrong and all this stuff. Just super great stuff.
Willie Nelson as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff in this particular set list that they haven't played all that much of. Don't Drift Away. Ain't that something they've been playing a fair amount, but not a super ton. Where My Friends, they don't play a lot. Whiskey Legs here and there, I guess. Done Blind, Crippled, and Crazy. That's a newer one that they kind of brought back. All the Love doesn't get played a ton live. Somebody Pick Up My Pieces. There is something I think they've kind of just started to bring back into the set list a little more. I Want More, that is kind of something they started bringing back a little more. They went a while without playing that, I feel like. So just a cool set list of surprises, but also, great TTB stuff from the I Am the Moon albums. You guys have any thoughts on this set list, Brandon and Whitt? I know you guys obviously were not at this show.
Nothing really. As we move into the Friday night show, which I was at, one thing I'm curious about, if you guys knew on Thursday, but I guess Susan was like a little bit under the weather. She was like a little bit congested, and but she was playing real fiery on Friday night. But I don't know if I haven't listened to the recording from Thursday night, if you can tell. But and it seemed by Saturday she had kind of worked it out of her system, and she was singing real strong. But
yeah, I didn't notice.
I did notice they definitely had her hot tea up there for her. So I noticed they were definitely looked like she might have, yes, but she battled through it, and I think she sounded great. I was wondering that myself, like would they maybe hold back on something on the set list, but Thursday and Friday the set list went right as planned, so she powered through. And obviously you guys saw on Friday. I mean, her guitar playing on Friday and Saturday. I mean, she was phenomenal.
She was on fire, especially Friday. Her playing was just super powerful, and then Saturday her voice kind of just got stronger, I think, by then, because I saw by Saturday I was Falcon and Derek were laughing at each other, shrugging their shoulders when she was belting out lines, because they're like, I guess she's recovered. She was kind of rejuvenated.
I appreciate all these details. This is like the reason I'm like doing this. Like, you wouldn't get this just from a write up, or maybe you would, but like, I don't know, just to hear the firsthand experiences from you guys, the boots on the ground. It makes me really feel like I was at the show. And like, if you guys are observing the tea and knowing about her voice or noticing that, other people are too. So it's kind of like the fans and the band are kind of like all in sync and interested in each other's well-being and want to have a fun time and have a great show and all that. Should we move into Friday night set list? Any other comments about night one?
Well, I just wrapped up with Let's Go Get Stoned, which is a great encore, and that was fun. And it sent everybody home waiting for the next night. So yeah, let's jump into Friday.
Yeah, I actually want to ask one more question, because this is something that I feel like you've noticed or other people kind of noticed, like the choices of the set list from like night 1, 2, 3, or whatever, how many of a certain run. Did it have like is there such a thing as a night one vibe? Because I feel like you could have done Friday, Thursday, Saturday, and Saturday, Friday, and I wouldn't have noticed like the difference in like, oh, this has a more of a night one feel. Did this feel like a night one feel? Does that make any sense?
No, I don't necessarily think that, but it had, again, it was a one set, right? Because we had an opener, so it was a one set
Right.
versus Friday and Saturday getting the two. And yeah, you wonder, you're like, yeah, are they going to hold back, a Midnight in Harlem? Are they going to hold back, Bound for Glory or something? What are you going to get? But I think Derek just kind of goes with what he's feeling, whether it might be first, second, or third night.
I got you.
That's just my kind of random guess there.
I think that they make it so even if, like, say night one there's an opener, they're gonna make it so everybody who's going to night one is basically gonna get just as good of a show as if they were on a 2-set night. So they're gonna make the set list just have a really wide span. I mean, that's generally been my thought behind it. That's my theory, but I don't know.
No, I think that's right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Certainly. Looking at the night 2 set list here, I'll read it off for people who are listening here. My dear, fall in, I am the moon, circles around the sun. Passaquan, and did they do Signs, High Times in between Passaquan and I Can't Make You Love Me?
No, did not.
Then the set 2 was So Long, Save Your Gravity, Just Won't Burn, DeGarry, Gin House Blues, How Blue Can You Get, Walk on Gilded Splinters, Let Me Get By, Wish I Knew how it felt to be free, how it feels to be free, I wish I knew, Stand Back, and Into Mr. Clean. Awesome songs as well. I just don't even know what to say. It's like, oh, this is awesome. I wish there was a tape. I want to listen to it right now. Like, I mean, there's, again, for me, you can pick the songs out of a hat, the set lists out of a hat, to some degree.
This show reminded me of the Knoxville show I saw Tuesday. They kind of eased their way into it, and I said it the other night, like a big crescendo. They just kind of eased into it and then just tore the roof off the place. with Friday. Where Saturday they just came out guns blazing, swinging for the fence, like you were talking about the night 1, 2, and 3. I kind of felt that I wasn't there Thursday, but it felt like it was building up to me. So we'll talk about Saturday in a few minutes.
It's so cool that they're able to play still, the full album or the full albums from the I Am the Moon. Like here, they just did Crescent, the entire thing. Like that's, I don't know, it's just a special thing that they've came up with this format of releasing these songs in a way that they can play them live. And it's only 5 of the songs, but I mean that's an hour plus of music, or I don't know about an hour, but like that's a big chunk of music, especially because Passaquan's extended a little bit. So you're getting a lot of music in those 5 songs, and it's just special that they're able to do that and play albums live.
Yeah, I think it's nice, Adam, that they're still doing that on occasion. Just pull the whole album out and go through it. And I mean, I like every song on the first one there. But to me, what's really, I think I mentioned it before, what's grown on me is Fall In. And, Mike's vocals, but the kind of the jam that goes on towards the end of that.
Yeah, I love it.
Funkier. And I mean, it just, I don't know. It pulls me in at the end of that one. I don't know why. You
think the song's over and you're like, oh, the song's over. I'm getting ready to hear whatever next song is, even after hearing Fallen 1,000 times now. But when it just keeps going and going for another 2-3 plus minutes, and you're like, damn, these guys are just on fire. It's just like it's a quieter like groove to it, but it's also super funky.
On this night, they actually pulled the energy way up near the end of that tune. Derek brought it up. He didn't keep it mellow. He kind of got after it, and that it changed the dynamic of the whole song, and that was really cool. That was something I remembered. I was like, whoa, they're actually like kicking this up a notch.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta find a video or audio of that specifically Fall In.
My brother was with me, and it's the first time he had heard Fall In. And he kept saying, man, what was that second song? That was his highlight of the weekend. He loved Fall In.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Love that.
Every single Mike song has some kind of like weird quirk to it, but is still super duper catchy. And they all grow on you more and more each time you hear them in kind of a different way than other Tedeschi Trucks band, in a very unique Mike Madison way. And that's just such a great element that he brings to the band, his style and songwriting, just something totally unique, but also totally fits with what this band is all about. I love it. I'm here for it.
And I don't know if you can see on the set list, Adam, but Signs is like in a different color font, good print, So yeah. I don't know what that was. If that was, I'm not really sure if that was to be played or not, but
maybe it's a maybe.
Yeah, but that just to hear the first album, and then I guess everybody kind of takes a break except for kind of Susan and Gabe, and I thought her vocal sounded very, very strong for someone who might have been a little bit under the weather. That I Can't Make You Love Me. I mean it. I did record that. I couldn't. I mean it was. I had people telling me they were fighting back the tears. It was.
I was just about to say, I'm not crying. You're crying. I'm fucking tearing up just from like thinking about this song.
It was definite goosebumps.
Yeah.
The cool thing I noticed there, when we had this roller coaster of Passaquan, and then it came down. Susan started, I Can't Make You Love Me, and you could have heard a pin drop inside the Ryman. Everybody was so respectful, and it was silent. And it just made it more special. You could really hear everything.
No, that's a perfect way to end a set, I think. Passaquan, and then with obviously because Susan is not featured on that. Then she takes center stage, obviously, and she reminds you it's Tedeschi Trucks band, and then leaves you excited for the band leaves you excited for more into set 2, more Derek, more Susan, more all of it. Shall we get into set 2 here? I think we did a good job there dissecting the first one. So Long Savior. I love that.
Phenomenal.
Well, we had a surprise on So Long Savior. Gabe's son played drums with Falcon on that.
Yeah, I did see some photos and clips.
So
of
that was, I didn't know who it was at first. I was like, "Who's that young guy back there playing the drums?" And then
he did a great job.
Yeah, and then she introduced him after the song, and I know Gabe was beaming with pride.
That's interesting that she introduced him after the playing. That's almost, I think that's better in a way. It's like less pressure or less like, oh, here's Gabe's son playing, as opposed to enjoy the music. And then you're like, oh, that's Gabe's son. That's so cool. Like after appreciating the music just on its own, because most people probably did not know who he was or who that was. I'm guessing.
I certainly didn't. It wasn't very easy to see behind the kid either. He's not I don't know how old he is or how young he is, but he was great. It was awesome. It was really a kind of a special thing. I thought that was really cool that they allowed him to sit in.
He looked like a youngster. I would guess 13 or 14 years old.
I think that's what they said, or someone said 13 or 14. Yeah,
he did a super job.
Damn, that's so cool. Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about this every episode, but like every episode is what a family affair, what a family centric band this is. Like even beyond just the literal bloodlines in the family, like through the rest of the band and the fans, like it's a real family atmosphere. And it seems like that was kind of an accentuated even at these Ryman shows, like a family vibe. Is that something that you guys felt too?
Yeah, I ran into Isaac Eddie's aunt, I think it was, and cousins. And they were just praising him. They were like, he's playing the Ryman. They were so proud of him, and that was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of respect for music history in these venues coming from the bands and their families and the people who work at the venue, like we were talking about. Just a great music fans gathering together, certainly.
Talking to a bunch of the people like during intermission and stuff, it's amazing how many people tell you, hey, we took the tour of the Ryman today or yesterday, or we're going tomorrow. Ann and I did it a couple of years ago, and it's really cool. And it's nice when you get to do the tour and TTB's gear is up on the stage, when you're kind of they take you through the tour and all that, and there's a video, and it just, everybody just gets into the whole vibe of the venue, and then in the band. And I mean, I don't know how many times there was at one point, and I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday night, but Susan said, "Thank y'all for having so much fun. You're making us have so much fun." Just really feeding off the vibe, the energy in that church is, it's just, I don't know. It gives me good every time I'm there. I'm so excited. It's almost as exciting as the first time I was there. It's just always so special.
It's a spirit. It sounds like a spiritual experience, literally, and maybe even the highest form in some regard, at least for like music fans, and this being, at least I know, me and David's favorite band to see and listen to. So it must be a spiritual experience on some level, I would think.
It is. I mean, for me, it's yes.
What about Derek's solo at the end of Gravity? What did that sound like?
That was a highlight for me, for sure. That was the first time I had seen them do that, I believe, because my last two shows at the Beacon, I don't think they did that. So I'm pretty sure that was the first time I've seen them play that, and that was definitely a highlight. I'm gonna have to take a listen to that one again.
Yeah, hopefully we can. There seems to be some. Obviously, David posted videos, and there's probably some stuff coming on YouTube. So maybe we will be able to piece together a decent amount of the music from Saturday and Sunday, and be able to dive into it. Just Won't Burn has been a highlight for me. I feel like a personal highlight for me lately. Just I don't know. You know what I think it might be? It's been raining in LA this week, and just driving around and just kind of like leaning into the melancholy a little bit. Like Just Won't Burn has been perfect this week for me personally, I must say. Just hearing some of the live Susan versions, which seem, I don't know, it's better than ever. I can't even explain it.
It's definitely become a highlight for me. Like one of the things Brandon said earlier, when you could hear a pin drop, when she's playing the soft notes of Just Won't Burn, I mean, just eerily silent, and you're just hearing, note for note, just the quiet, and as she just builds it, and I mean, it's Just Won't Burn is, and I did not know that song, from her catalog. So I was introduced to it, Fireside, the Fireside Sessions when they brought that in, and it's definitely one that I always look forward to seeing on the set list. She's just amazing on that song.
I believe it.
It's spectacular.
Yeah, it's so good. Gin House Blues. Gin House Blues always gets the room moving, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Mike singing and Gabe's piano on that. That's definitely become one of my favorite covers that they do.
It starts with Gabe's piano, I think. A couple little melody, and then they dive right into it, and those drums kick in, and then it's just nonstop fire for the rest of the this song. I love that. DeGarry is super cool. I feel like that's that like I said, was talking last time podcast, how that seems like it's a little bit of a different sound than some other Tedeschi Trucks Band songs. In some ways, I don't know. I think of it more as a meditation in some ways, if that makes sense. And I keep associating with the I Am the Moon video, the music videos that they released, where they were showing all the nostalgic photos of the band. So I just continually just associate that song with that. And it's not something that they brought out a ton live, but it has a real groove that kind of like sucks you in, I feel like, for sure.
Yeah, I love the drums on the Gary. All the tom work and playing with mallets instead of sticks. And it's just really unique.
Yeah, definitely like ethereal vibes.
Yeah, that's a good word.
It's definitely one you don't hear very often. It's kind of, I think it's one of the rarest ones of the new album to be played. It is ethereal. Yes,
there's always a song or two or three or more in every set that's, like we're saying, not necessarily a surprise, but you're not thinking of it. You're not really thinking of it. You're not expecting it. And then you hear that, and it's just a totally awesome thing. Like, that's why I tried to actually listen to the first night's show without even really looking at the set list itself, or at least when I was listening to it, trying to make it really that much more fresh for myself, give myself the closest thing to a concert experience I can from listening to the music, and obviously from the recaps from you guys. How blue can you get?
Again, for if Susan was a little under the weather, I mean, certainly didn't show on that. I mean, singing her and her guitar on that is, I mean, she owns that song.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Just classic blues song.
Yeah,
that's essential.
I always enjoyed listening to the first maybe 24 bars or so, where Derek comes into it, just with all of his BB King, Freddie King licks. That's it kind of sets the tone. It's just nice, and then he lets her go off and do her own thing.
Brandon, you play drums, correct?
Yeah.
You said, yeah. So you play drums. Whitt plays guitar, and David, obviously, you're just a hardcore TTB music fan.
Listen.
That's so cool that I really do appreciate being able to get those different perspectives on this podcast, and that's going to be a lot more fun moving forward. Like doing these recaps, hopefully with 2, 3, 4 people on all of them, where I can get those different viewpoints from fans who also play music, because I play a little guitar myself, of course, and I think that gives you a sense of how awesome the professionals are, and not what it takes, but like how far we are all the way from achieving the sounds that move us in the way that Derek and the rest of the band does with their playing and singing.
I mean, we see a lot of, everybody sees Derek smiling at Susan, encouraging her, nodding her, take another lick, whatever. Ann said she saw, wife Ann said she saw, I don't know, maybe I think it was Saturday night. She finished, a bit, and you could see him say, nice. He's digging on her playing too. It's so fun to see. And Ann said she saw Derek smiling, this weekend as much as ever at the Ryman this weekend. He just seemed very, very happy with the way the band was grooving.
She has an impossible job. She's playing guitar on stage with Derek Trucks. That seems like an impossible job, but they really do make it work. They have great chemistry, obviously, in more ways than one, but just in terms of their guitar playing and how their styles complement each other. And obviously Derek, brings the slide in, which is its own element as well. But like, she's spectacular in her own sense, and has a style and a voice, and like Derek, like somehow they are getting better and playing new things and new sounds and bringing even more emotion to their songs, whether it's Susan on Just Won't Burn or Derek on Gravity, just like bringing even more newness and more uniqueness, and somehow they get better. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
I love when she's soloing and then his signal to the band to keep going is like shaking his head no, and like he'll shake his head to the side. It just means keep playing, and like she's like looking at him like she's done soloing, and then he's just like, no, you're not done, just keep going. and then she pulls out another verse or so, and that's kind of fun to see, like him push her, and then she just pulls out another whole string of great moments. So.
Well, hey, Whitt, as a guitar player, what would you say about her, her skill and improvement over the, the last half dozen years or so?
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I can tell when she's, pulling out new phrases, or more so, you can see when she'll pull something out that's not in her regular repertoire of phrases, and you'll see Derek look like raise an eyebrow, like, where'd she get that? It's kind of a fun interaction. But yeah, she's definitely, one thing I've noticed is she's played a lot more parts on guitar for songs, where she used to play just kind of more straight chords, and now she'll do harmonies with Derek. She's playing a lot of the harmony lines in the songs, and that's really cool to see her play that and sing at the same time. So yeah, she's definitely pushed herself on guitar for sure.
Yeah, she's had more written parts, guitar parts on their studio songs. And is it interludes? Not interludes, but in between getting back into like the verse, or in between stanzas or parts of songs, she's had more of those type guitar parts, and it sounds great. And I love what she does with the wah-wah pedal as well whenever she busts that out too.
And you got to remember, she's a graduate of Berklee School of Music out of Boston. She knows her stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy how long these two have been at it, and how amazing they've been. Somehow since they've basically started, they've had their sound. She's had her voice, her whole life, of course, but super talented people, certainly. Gilded's, what's up?
Two different guitar styles. I mean, you can definitely tell who's playing.
Yeah.
Susan plays, I would consider, like, very staccato, and she uses a pick, and it's, where Derek is more of a finger stop.
It's all good.
She lit it up both nights I saw him this weekend. She was incredible.
What about Gilded Splinters? That always gets the place bouncing.
I thought the roof was going to blow off the place. It was incredible.
That's how David describes it when they play the song, I think.
Yeah, it's just kind of a, that tribal. You just, with the drums, it just, you feel like the room's shaking with you. Yeah, it's just yeah. I think the place shakes when they play that.
Incredible.
Yeah, so cool. Such cool stuff. Let Me Get By. I Wish I Knew. Stand Back, Mr. Clean. We're getting near the end, but super great tunes.
Let Me Get By. Let Me Get By has been around for a while, but I mean, it, to me, it's just, it's moved right up near the top of my favorites right now. I mean, I'm kind of hoping for that whenever I see them. At this point, when Susan's saying "get out of my way," and it's just I just think she's just commanding those lyrics, and it just speaks to me.
It felt like everybody in the building was singing along too. They were like, you could hear everybody singing along with her, and she's eating it up and smiling, and got that left leg lift going.
Oh, the leg lift. If you see the leg lift, you know things are getting serious.
Yeah, preaching.
Yeah. No, the song is I associate it with like a triumph. It's triumphant. It sounds triumphant, especially when you get towards the end. It sounds like a victory. I don't know. I love it. It's uplifting. Like listening to the song is literally like uplifting, I think.
Absolutely, Adam.
It's medicine for the soul. I wish I knew.
Great horn intro on that. They've done an extended intro, which I think is really nice.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see I Wish I Knew. I'm not even sure. This is my that was my 22nd show, and I don't think I may have seen him play it once in the last 10 years, but that's not one that they probably only play that once every, I don't know, 10, 12 shows, if that, I'm guessing, if I had to guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
David would know better than me.
And then obviously Mark and Alicia kill towards the end of that as well.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah,
and then Stand Back and Mr. Clean. They've been using that to close out their shows. A few shows lately. Super good stuff.
Yeah, I know. I think I heard one that some said that maybe it wrapped back around, but that was strictly Stand Back into Mr. Clean, and they cut it right at the end of Mr. Clean. But it was, that's a great addition. The horns are great. The just the whole vibe of that Mr. Clean is been very well received, because probably most were like me, didn't know what it was. You had to go out and research it, but it's very, very well received.
Yeah, funky.
That was the highlight of my Friday night was Stand Back and Mr. Clean. It was powerful.
Yeah, they went back into Stand Back at the Warner when they did those shows. That did sound cool too. I will say that. Very good stuff. Should we get into the final night of the run?
Yep.
Yeah, when you're going to the final night, you're kind of like, wow, it's almost over. For me, we're going for a 3-night run. You're like, oh, it's the last night already. You're like, oh gosh, it's coming to a close. But I agree. One of them, maybe Brandon or whatever. Saturday night I think was on another level.
Absolutely, they came out swinging for the fence.
Hey, get that mug off of there.
That's you. So you guys got set lists from all 3 nights?
We did. We were lucky, fortunate enough that we did.
Very cool. Very cool. So which night was it? The night that Derek played with Billy Strings? That was on Saturday. That was last night.
Saturday night. Yep.
Yeah, because I noticed I was just watching and listening to that, and you could see Bobby T's running around in the background getting Derek all set up. So he brought Bobby across town or whatever with him.
I guess so, and I guess
it's funny.
The guy that takes the pictures, the young guy that takes the pictures,
Bradley. Yeah,
Bradley. I think he had a few pictures of Derek over there, so. Maybe the 3 of them trucked over together. So I don't know.
Probably, yeah. Probably. I can't imagine too many went over there.
I wonder if anybody caught a picture of him walking across.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be so cool if somebody had of him just carrying his SG, not even in a case or whatever, maybe just running across with it out.
So it was exactly how close were these 2 venues to each other? It sounds like walking distance.
Oh, I mean, in a brisk walk, you're probably talking 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, so that's fun. That's funny. If someone, yeah, I hope that there's a video or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Bradley documented it or something
Yeah,
like that. Like
that would be
just,
great. They put that on there. One of those, one of the
yeah,
little videos that they put on there, show
right.
him walking across. But there was a buzz. I know when we got there Saturday, several people had come up to me and said, we heard that they're going over at the intermission. I mean, that was, I don't know, where it came from, but I heard it from several people, just other fans that had heard it. So it was, I guess it was pretty well known, I guess, to most, not to me, but to a lot of people. I guess it was kind of leaked out.
They love playing with other musicians and even after hours, the horns and all this stuff. They just like love playing. And they're like, I see fans leaking or putting out videos of the late night sessions and jams and after hours, and obviously joining other musicians
I hope
on
there's
stage.
pictures
Of what?
Derek. I'm sorry. Derek had to cross Broadway, which is 4 lanes of heavy traffic and tons of people because it's the Strip in Nashville where all the clubs are. And I'd like to see some pictures of him jetting across
It's just
Broadway
carrying the guitar on the shoulder. Yeah, no case.
Yeah, that's the way I'm picturing it. That's the way I want to think it happened. I don't know.
Maybe they put him in a golf cart. I don't know. But I'd like to see it.
A golf cart? Nah, probably you don't need it. It's close enough without it.
Well,
Ann is telling me there might be something of it. She keeps these secrets from me.
Yeah.
So
well,
maybe we'll see if she pulls something up on that. I thought I heard, and maybe Whitt or Brandon, that was the first time that Derek and Billy had met.
That's what Billy String says on the video.
Is that right?
Yeah, when he introduced him on stage, he told a kind of funny story. You might have seen it, but he said, "This is the first time I've ever got to meet Derek Trucks, and it's right here in front of all you guys, and I see this as kind of like we're a couple of dogs sniffing each other's behind, seeing what we're all about." That's what he says.
That's kind of what this podcast is becoming in a lot of ways. I'm just looking for fans who've been on shows, and I'm not. You never know who exactly is gonna get, but I could tell who's hardcore fans just from kind of talking to them. But yeah, this set list is stellar as well. Obviously, Anyhow and Chevrolet. Again, a couple of songs seeming like they're tied at the hip lately.
I did notice from the first time they did that was down in Florida. We happened to be at the show, and it was much more seamless last night. They worked that out going right from Anyhow into Chevrolet. I mean, it just flowed right in. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love the humor.
Such a rockin' tune, Chevrolet. That makes it work, because if they were like, well, Tedeschi Trucks Band doesn't have any bad songs anyway, but like if we felt like they were crowbarring some song in for corporate interests or something like commercial interests, we would think of it as such. But the fact that it's such a great song, it's such a rockin' tune, and it's a cool cover, it works out. Like that's what I was gonna say earlier about how TTB can play chunks of their albums or a full album, like in the I Am the Moon sense or whatever. And other bands can't do that. And the reason I don't think other bands can do that with their albums is because their songs are not as good. Tedeschi Trucks Band has great songs. Not every band puts out an album and every song 1 through 12, 1 through 10, or 1 through 5 times 4 is going to be to the quality that, a band like TTB is. So I think that's just a credit to TTB's music. The fact that they can play full albums is because all their songs are so great.
Carrying the guitar, or is he got it in the case?
Last Night in the Rain was my highlight for Saturday. That's become one of my frequent listening tunes. That's the first time I've seen him play that live.
Was it the beginning of it?
It was
so catchy.
Oh, I love that song.
All right,
So
I saw a little of the
catchy.
video. I think I have to burst the bubble. It looks like the guitar was in a case.
You
But
doing the research.
But it wasn't. It didn't. I mean, the little video Ann just showed me, it would look like they were going into the Bridgestone Arena, so it didn't really show them out on the street or anything. But have to see if there's more more footage. Maybe some fan, maybe somebody out on the street got something. But
no, that's cool though. Yeah, no, Last Night in the Rain. That's like a super catchy song. Like it's just such a groove. It's such a catchy tune.
Brandon, you've got to love the drums on that, huh?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what. Like I said, that's become one of my favorite listening songs. I'll probably listen to it at least maybe 3 or 4 mornings every week when I'm in the shower. It's one of my go-tos.
Yep. What about Do I Look Worried? Classic TTB song, of course.
I still think that gets one of the biggest oohs and ahs and applause of Derek's solos. That one is still right at the top of his. The crowd always seems to love his solo on Do I Look Worried.
Yeah, the way the band just kind of like stops on a dime and it like the rest of the sound kind of clears out, and then Derek plays, and it's just super tight. It's like a really tight Tedeschi Trucks band song, and obviously the way they end it, with stopping that on a dime as well is just super cool. Just a classic, very emotional song. I think it's probably. I would guess maybe it's the band's favorite song because, like we've been talking about, it's like never left the set lists. I feel like it's never really been gone that long, if at all, like over the years since like this song was released.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I've got a jet. My son needs.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again sometime.
You got it.
Met you down
Brandon, again, it was great to meet you.
Yeah,
Ryman, great to meet you there.
Again. I'll see you again.
Cheers. Thank you. Take care.
See you guys. Take care.
Cheers.
And
then there were 2.
You talk about that. The Do I Look Worried? It's never left the set, but I guess it's got to be one of Derek's favorites. And like I say, the crowd and including myself eats it up every time. Every time I hear it, I'm moved by it every single time I hear it.
It's show stopping.
Yeah, yes.
Show stopping. Emmeline is haunting.
Adam, when they were before, one of them was saying you could hear a pin drop, and there might have been a whistle once or twice, but when they sang the last couple of notes of that, and you could hear just the background. If you can get a recording of that, how silent it was at the end of that song, to me was such a tribute to the fans that were there. I don't know. It seemed like it was a knowledgeable crowd all weekend, but especially on some of the quiet notes and quiet songs, they were just so respectful of it. And I certainly noticed that.
And that can take some discipline to some degree and willpower from the fans, because some people having a few drinks and other songs are more upbeat and you're dancing, you're getting into it, and then you are kind of forced in a sense to kind of like, okay, we have to have a little bit of a different vibe for something like Emmeline, and it just takes you to a place that's just as emotional in a different way when you're listening to something like that. It's just a real unique vibe in itself.
Yeah, another one of Mike's songs that just gets to you, right? It gets to you. He's just a brilliant songwriter, And then he delivers it.
Right. The first time you hear it, you're like, what is this? What am I listening to? And then by the end of the song, you're like, that was pretty good. And then you're listening it again. You're like, this song's awesome. And then you're listening to it for the third, fourth time. You're like, this is one of my favorite things on the album. Then the fifth time, it's like, then you're hearing it live and they've taken it to a whole nother place. So again, the Mike songs, I think, really do grow on you in a kind of a different, unique way, in a unique Mike way. Yes, We Will. I know that's one of your favorites.
Oh man. Yeah. She always tributes, pays homage to BB King on that one. But, I think the lyrics are great. Yeah, that's definitely, in my top 3 on the new album. Love that one. Love it. And was hoping, it was funny as Ann and I were talking, after the first two nights, we're kind of like, you're saying, well, what's kind of go-to that they haven't done? And we had Anyhow, Do I Look Worried? Yes, We Will. All those that came up in the first set, we were kind of pegging those. And then what a treat to get Joyful Noise.
Funky.
Yes. Oh man, that was terrific. Just terrific. And we did not get Take Me As I Am.
Oh,
so Ryan brought out the stand for the lyrics, and I was like, I wonder what they're going to play that she's not up on the lyrics. So after that, it was kind of my curiosity was what was that? What did we miss? Right? So something missed because it pulled it away, and then they went right into Idle Wind. I knew she didn't need the lyrics for Idle Wind, right? So we knew something had been skipped, but we didn't know what it was until after the show and it had seen the set list. So we did miss that one.
Probably for time. I would guess
Yeah.
time, because it's like we still have to play Idle Wind. That's going to be 15 more minutes right there. We don't have time for Take Me
he
As
had
I
to
Am.
get over to Billy Strings.
Right.
So,
On top of it.
I guess
Man.
yeah. So
Play
maybe
it safe. Play it
yeah.
safe. They're playing it safe.
So it might have been some coordination there, but Idle Wind,
Right.
obviously, we know that always usually ends the first set, and the drums. Too bad that Brain had to go, but because he knows the drums. But Isaac and Falcon are definitely they have come together very nicely. Obviously, what JJ and Falcon played together for what 10 years, I guess. So, but Isaac is I think that he and Falcon have found their groove. So
definitely.
Yeah. So the question was, how long was the set? Because everybody at this point had heard that Derek was going over to play, and everybody's like, well, wonder how long the set break's going to be. Is it going to be a little extended, because he's got to, go across the street and play 15 minutes or whatever. But I don't know how he did it and got it all done, but he did. And I don't think the set break was, more than 30 minutes in between. But of course, they didn't really need Derek for the first song of the second set.
Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that might have been had something to do with the plan there as well, right?
Right. How was Angel and Sugary? That's must have been somewhat surprising to or not expected, because that doesn't usually begin a set.
No, yeah, it was. I think, yeah, I definitely caught me off guard. Obviously, one of the guys was saying before everybody was singing the chorus on Angel from Montgomery. I mean, everybody was singing the chorus, and you could see Susan kind of smiling and I think enjoying that everybody was, kind of became a little bit of a sing along, even in Angel. And then obviously I think Sugary, I guess sometimes now they haven't been, hooking Sugary on the back of it. I've heard a couple of times.
Yeah, they've been mixing it up a little bit.
But they did go into that, and then lo and behold, Derek popped right up, was ready to for the next song. He was out on stage, So
when he wasn't on any of Sugary.
No.
He came out for Playing With My Emotions. I got you.
Yes.
So he got a solid, whatever, 35, 40 minutes to do whatever he needed to do across town. Yeah, again, like in sort of a similar way, Emmeline has haunting vocals, a little quieter, but Playing With My Emotions, the way that song ends, I kind of feel like it has a little bit of a similar, that cool, haunting kind of like vibe to it. And that's definitely something that's like grown on me more and more.
I feel the same way. That song has grown on me as well. First time I heard it, I said, God, I thought it was a little poppy to me. And the more I dug into the lyrics and got into the groove, I've come to really love that one. So
yeah, it's a super catchy melody to it, certainly.
Yeah. And then one of my all-time favorites. I mean, one of my all-time, and again, it was done. It was done differently than what I've normally heard. I thought it was a shorter version, but no less powerful. I don't recall a big intro to it. Wasn't sure where he was going. Wasn't sure it was going into Shame, and it did. And again, Susan's vocals at the end, the haunting vocals at the end, it was so quiet you could hear, and it was again one of that. I could easily say that's my favorite original of theirs. I can easily say that, and one day something else, might depending on when you catch
the current song you're listening to, the current song we're talking about, that's the favorite.
But if somebody's, sometimes somebody says, "What's your favorite song?" I'm probably going to either say "Bound for Glory" or "Shame." Those two pop up always. Sure. I don't know. Those two are right there for me, and that being a little bit of a newer song from from Signs, so I love it. And that was the one they were playing almost 2 years before it actually came out on record.
Right.
That was out for a long time. It just, I don't know. That one always spoke to me. Love the guitar and love the lyrics. Obviously, Outside Woman Blues, we got the duel, Derek and Susan going at it. And as they were saying before, I think maybe Whitt was saying that he just encourages her, take another turn, don't stop at a 15-second lead, do 30 seconds, do more. And his expressions, I try to capture some of those, with the camera, because he makes some great facial expressions when Susan's hitting different notes or doing different things. And you just see him enjoying her playing. And that makes it, that makes it more enjoyable for me, seeing how much he's enjoying her playing.
Sure, they bring such an energy to this song in a really unique way, because I feel like this song is like popping up more in playlists and stuff, all the different covers, obviously the Cream version, but there's others out there. So definitely a song that's been covered a million times by a lot of bands, but like the TTB version, I think in large part because of the guitar playing and Susan and Derek, especially when they do it live, it has such a unique just like energy that they bring to this song, and a feel that I think no other version does. Like, I mean, that's what TTB does. They make everything better, their own, unique, powerful, all of the above.
I always feel like when I hear quote one of them doing a cover, I never think back and say, "Oh, I wish they did it the way the original was."
Right.
Or this. It's always they make it their own, and I actually enjoy it better than the original.
In almost all cases, I agree, and probably in all cases, but I'm just saying in almost all, just to be safe, in case I could be mistaken.
There might be one
something.
out of 100, right? Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like I say a lot of them. I don't even think of them as covers. It's their song the way they do it, and it's awesome. I would say the next bit for me was the highlight of the 3 days. It was the high point for I tried to add it up. I think they played 50 or 51 songs, and that Leaving Trunk into Volunteer Slavery was the highlight for me. Absolute highlight. I mean, by leaps and bounds. Lucas Nelson came out and played. And I'd never seen him play, and it wasn't because he was there or whatever, but I think that added to it, because as we know, when Derek brings somebody on or Sue, they always let them feature, right? Always going to make sure they got plenty of lead and stuff like that. And somebody had told me that they had seen Lucas Nelson before the show, and they had talked to him, and he said, I'm not playing, I'm just here to watch. So when he actually came out, that was surprising. And if you see the video, he was playing Susan's guitar, that Rosetta Tharp white, that beautiful new white guitar she has.
Right.
Which I hadn't seen her play it in a while, but so I guess maybe he wasn't really going to play because he didn't have his own guitar. But to me, that was old school TTB. You
They
know,
haven't been playing it that Leaving
No.
Trunk and Volunteer Slavery all that much lately, if I'm correct.
and that one just, you know, it has so much room to expand, to jam, to explore, and that's, you know, one of the early things that got me about TTB, you know, and that just hit, I don't know, that just hit the sweet spot for me.
Yeah, Volunteer Slavery in some ways similar to Gilded Splinters has a kind of a tribal vibe that just builds and builds and builds, and then it kind of maybe blows the roof off the place too in a similar way.
Yeah, it was amazing, and you know, I think Susan, you know, kind of introduced him as family, you know, Lucas Nelson as family to them, and so that was so cool. That was really cool to see them all, and all three of them took leads, you know, during the song, and of course we love Mike's vocals on Leaving Trunk, and then you know the whole choir, as I'll call it, singing on Volunteer Slavery.
Right.
We were in church. The whole choir was amazing. And then I don't know, this set list I got from somebody. I don't know exactly why they marked it up the way they did. If somebody on the you know, I guess somebody on the crew, but they went from Volunteer Slavery into I Pity the Fool. So that's what followed Volunteer Slavery is I Pity the Fool. And then they came back to Made Up Mine and finished the set with Made Up Mine. A lot of energy there.
And they played Midnight in Harlem also.
As the encore.
Oh,
that was
wow.
the first encore. Yeah, so it was a little different. It was a little, you know, you don't really you usually see Midnight as an encore.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen Midnight in Harlem as an encore.
So
we're gonna have to dig into do some crack staff research, like, because I don't think I ever recall Midnight in Harlem as an encore. I mean, maybe it has. They've played thousands of shows, but definitely not something recently.
Yeah, not yeah. We definitely need to check that out. But that's what happened. So they did Pity the Fool, Made Up Mine. Obviously, Mark Rivers, you know, killing that. You know, such a lot of energy in the crowd. And then they came back, and you know, I thought we would get Midnight into Bound for Glory, but I don't know, maybe time constraints or whatever. But Bound for Glory did not get played, so it was Midnight and Show Me was the 2-set encore.
Oh, they did play Show Me after Midnight in Harlem.
Yeah.
I got you. So they didn't finish the show with Midnight in Harlem.
No, they did.
How did they get into Midnight in Harlem? Was it a long intro, or did they just get into the song, or how did they do that?
No, it was a pretty good long intro by Derek, and we got, you know, Kebby on the sax. It was a full on intro.
Yeah. Set the mood.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And Show Me, I'm sure, was a complete circus on stage. That's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before. I love watching Elizabeth. I mean, she kills the trumpet, but she dances and has so much fun, big smile on her face, and just always having so much fun up there. And I mean, she had a great solo on Leaving Trunk. Great solo on Leaving Trunk as well. As you know, all the horns going around on Show Me, and Mark down front singing, you know, clapping and getting everybody into it. I mean, it was a beautiful way to end, 3 great days of music at, again, you know, I still have to say my favorite place to see them.
Yeah. Like church, a spiritual experience you had.
Yeah. We got to get you over there one day, Adam.
Yeah, no, I'm now, like, I feel like just from this conversation, in some ways, like the Ryman may have jumped other bucket list TTB. Like, I'm probably skipping Red Rocks this year, but I think this might be more of my vibe than Red Rocks, even just because it's like I can picture the city and the music and the scene, and it just sounds like such a fun energy. And I've never been to Nashville either, so there's that. But
I
maybe
think
that
you need to make that happen. You need to make that happen. Yeah.
Oh, one of these days. Well, thank you. I appreciate the time again. As always, great conversations. Anything else we need to cover or mention that you want to talk about as far as your weekend?
Just thanks so much for doing all this for everybody, Adam. We all appreciate it. I know a lot of people listen in and talk about it, and it brings all the fans closer together too.
That's becoming more and more. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's becoming more and more of my thought, and like how I want to like even. I've always approached it this way, but really thinking about that even more and more. Like do this more for the fans, like including myself as a fan. Like just these conversations are just so much fun to get these recaps. I'm gonna try to just recap as many shows as I can. I need a Google Calendar. The band needs to create a Google Calendar of all their concerts and all their even events that they're doing or other appearances. And then I could put that on my calendar and sort of schedule when I want to do my things, my recaps and podcasts and follow-ups on, and just kind of following their lead. And, I'll try to continue on their nights off and days off to do recaps of whatever shows or, were in the recent past, but it's been fun. Certainly.
I know a big fan, Jeff Fink, wanted to be on here.
Yeah, he's been on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's I guess he's in Austin. He was there for all 3 shows, and he and I met at the Beacon last year, and we hung out a good bit here. And we're both going to be in Chicago for the second weekend of Chicago, so I'm looking forward to hanging with him some more. He said he's got a business trip, and he's doing the Warner again. I'm gonna get him on.
I'm gonna get him on to recap that. I'm gonna probably do that next Sunday. I'll drop the link and get that posted in the next couple of days or so, and start promoting that. But yes, I'm thinking Sunday night, maybe the same time next week for the Warner. That is gonna be super fun. And hopefully we'll get some tapes. We got recordings for all 3 shows last go around from Mr. Leary. So maybe I don't know if he's going again or what, but. I would love to get him on and tapers to get more tapers on, but not everyone wants to to be on a podcast. I understand that. But on that note, I appreciate your time again. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening, and let's talk soon.
Thanks, Adam. Take care, man.
Oh, you too. Later. So there you go. Episode 106, recapping Tedeschi Trucks Band at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee. That was so much fun. Thank you, David. Thank you, Whitt. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate the time, certainly. And just such great details that I get from Susan's tea and them describing the city and what it might be like for Derek to run across the town and to catch a gig at intermission of his own show. So just cool stuff all around. And I could tell that these guys are all hardcore Tedeschi Trucks Band's fans, of course. Returning guests of this show, so it's been great to connect with more and more fans. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. Please check out at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, iTunes, Spotify, etc. It's available everywhere. Positive reviews on Apple Podcasts are definitely appreciated as well. Please subscribe on YouTube. I'm at Adam Choid on Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me. TedeschiTrucksBand.com is their official website. Definitely join the Swamp Family fan club. Buy tickets to shows, buy merch, support the band any way you can. I think that's pretty much all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you as always. I might try to get an episode out this week. I know the band has a show in, I think, West Virginia. So maybe Wednesday I'll drop another live stream. And if I could find someone to come on and recap that one. But we'll see on that. But on that note, thank you again, everybody. And let's talk soon. Peace.